What's up guys, welcome to another Scratch tutorial. This is part 4 on how to make a maze game in Scratch, and in this video we'll be looking at how to make the shop. As you can see, I have a shop button, and if I click on it, I can open the shop, and I also can close the shop. So anyways, without further ado, let's get started. Okay. So here's the code from last time, and if you haven't seen parts 1 through 3 yet, you can check them out, links in description. But first, I want to create the shop button, so I have a sprite from my backpack, and I'm going to call this sprite shop button. And inside the costumes, I have 2 costumes. The first one is the shop, and then the second one is the clothes shop. So I'll name this shop, and I'll name this clothes shop. So back inside the code, I'm going to make the shop button go over here. So when the green flag is clicked, I'm going to first show it, switch costume to shop, and make it go to X 205 and Y 155. Okay, so I'm going to go to Control and drag a forever loop and a if-else statement, and go to Stenciling and drag a touching mouse pointer, and I'm going to check if touching mouse pointer. Then I'm going to change the size, and I'm going to drag the size variable, and then go to operators and get a divided by, and a subtraction, and I'm going to say 120 minus size divided by 3. And then I'm going to set the ghost effect to 0. I'm going to duplicate this, change this to 100 and this to 65. So if I run the project now, as you can see, if I hover my mouse over the button, it turns bigger. So next I want to open the shop, so I'm going to go to variables and create a new variable, and I'm going to call this variable shop opened. And I'm going to put a question mark because it's going to be true or false. Make sure this is for all sprites, and then click OK. Okay, so I'm going to set shop opened to false. And in the shop button sprite, I'm going to drag an if statement and check if mouse down. Then I'm going to drag a wait until block and drag a not mouse down. So if mouse down, wait until not mouse down. And I'm going to drag an if-else statement and check if shop opened is equal to false. Then I'm going to broadcast a new message, and I'm going to call this message open shop. And I'm going to click OK, and else I'm going to broadcast another message called close shop. Okay, so right now this doesn't change anything really by the looks of it, but to make it open the shop, we actually need to create a new sprite. So I'm going to call this sprite shop screen. And I have a costume from my backpack, and this costume is just a square that has curved corners, and it says shop. So inside the code, I want the shop to be at the bottom of the screen, so I'm going to drag a one green flag clicked. Then I'm going to hide it and make sure it goes to the front layer, and make sure it goes to the bottom. So X0, and I don't know what the bottom of the screen is, so let's say negative 5,000 or 500 or just a big number. So the bottom of the screen is negative 328, So just type that in there and put it back. So next, I'm going to go to events and drag a when I receive open shop. Then I want it to smoothly glide up. And now this uses a block, and I have the block in my backpack. And I have the block in my backpack because I use this block in another tutorial. You can check it out, links in the description. But I will just show you the quick. I'll just let you have a quick look at it. Okay, so let's get back to coding. So I'm going to smooth glide to the center. So 0, 0, speed of 6. Or 5 to make it faster. And looks, I'm going to make sure it shows. So I think I can open the shop. Yep, I can open the shop, which is exactly what we want. Okay, so next I want the shop items. So I have it in my backpack, and I have some costumes in my shop items. So I'm going to name this Sprite Shop Items. So I have a pistol, which costs 5 coins. So I'll call this Pistol. And I have a machine gun, which costs 15 coins. So I'll call this Machine Gun. And I'm going to move this a bit down, because we will be using clones. So the player could be able to buy it. So if I show you and copy both of these, they are together. So make sure they are together and then separate them. Okay, so inside the code, I'm going to drag a when green flag clicked. I want to create clones, so I'm going to need a variable for this. So I'm going to call this variable clone number. Hashtag means number. And I'm going to select for this sprite only. So I'm going to set clone number to 0. And inside of control, I'm going to drag a forever loop. Not a forever loop. I'm going to drag a when I start as a clone and an if statement. And I'm going to check if clone number is equal to 1. Then I'm going to show switch costume to machine gun or pistol, and I'm going to make it go to the center, so 0, 0. And I'm going to make it go to front, or because the shop screen is also in front, so I'm going to make it go forward 5 layers. And I'm going to duplicate this, change this to 2, and change this to machine gun. Okay, so I'm going to drag a when I receive new message. So I'm going to call this message shop opened. And I'm going to broadcast this message once the shop screen is set up. So I'm going to do that, and back inside the shop item sprite, I'm going to get a repeat loop and repeat 2 times because we have 2 clones. And I'm going to change the clone number variable by 1. And I'm going to create a clone of myself. And also, I'm going to make sure to hide the sprite. So if I open the shop, there is items. And I also need to close the shop. So I'm going to go to events and drag a when I receive close shop. Then I'm going to make the shop button be at the bottom over here. So go to X, 0, Y, -115, and switch costume to close shop. Okay, so, and also I need to when I receive open, make sure this is when I receive open shop, and I need to set the shop opened variable to true because the shop is opened. Okay, so in the shop screen sprite, I'm going to drag a when I receive close shop. Then I'm going to smooth glide to x0 to the bottom of the screen. So we know that the bottom of the screen is negative 328. And then I'm going to go to looks and drag a hide. Okay, so in the shop items, I also want these to hide, because if I run it right now and I close the shop, well, the close shop button is behind. So I'm going to make sure it goes in front. So go forward 10 layers, because the shop items are not hidden. And I also want this to go back to its original position. So when I receive close shop, then set shop opened to false, and I'm going to go to this position, and I can delete this and switch costume to shop. So in the shop item sprite, I'm going to drag a forever loop and a if else statement, or I can just duplicate this or move this. I'm going to move this inside here. Okay, and I'm going to take these out and replace them with, if the shop is not opened, then I want it to show, else I want it to hide. And I'll duplicate this and put it in there also. Oh yeah, I need to swap these. Okay, so I got some shop items, which is exactly what we want. And you may have noticed that these don't spawn exactly at the same time. So in order to fix this, I need to make a new block, and I'll call this block create clones. And make sure to click run without screen refresh and click OK. So I'm going to drag this under here and then drag the create clones block under there. So if I run the project now, I can open the shop and they spawn at these items, they appear at the same time, which is exactly what I want. Okay, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next Scratch tutorial. Peace out.